Hello there, all my little chicks and cocks. My name is Adam Cleary, and welcome to a delicious, all-too-rare slice of some wrestling hashtag good afternoons. I am, as I say, Adam Cleary, joined by Adam Nicholas's beard, and amongst many other stories today, I will be telling you about a 10-year WWE veteran getting an exciting new gimmick. That's that.
Indeed, 2 WWE championships are getting a new belt design that is set to happen soon, potentially. And on top of that, we also have a big US title match set up for Backlash. Adam Cleary, what else have we got?
Oh, but first, drum roll please. Maths, because Twitter account WrestleVotes, which, despite us always saying take everything with a pinch of WrestleVotes, needs less and less pinches of WrestleVotes, I think, these days. They published a number of questions and answers on their Twitter account yesterday about the backstage goings-on in WWE. Now, amongst them were certain things about most underutilized talent, which they said Montez Ford, Bianca Belair, the best sense of humor, Big E, no surprises there. Will we be getting live crowds back before 2021? They said yes, no real surprises there, but 2 mathematical statistics were provided which raised one eyebrow first and then both eyebrows alternatingly the second time. First of all, they were asked what do they think the percentage usage of marijuana is backstage at WWE, and they said around 70% of the roster. Now, if my mum had read that, she would have had absolute kittens. She absolutely despises the old devil's lettuce, but these are grown-up men and women, and there have been a lot of stories over the years about cannabis use amongst wrestlers, certainly backstage. But whether or not it's been this prevalent in WWE is definitely news. Adam Nicholas, are you shocked at this number?
Absolutely not. Not even remotely. I guess it all depends, doesn't it, on the states they're living in and all the rules over there. I would not profess to be one of the most in the know when it comes to those sort of states and what is you can and can't do in America. However, it's interesting because this is probably something that you'd imagine superstars would have failed the drug tests for in like prior years if it was part of the policy. We also know they did sign Matt Riddle, fully aware of this. So
do you know what you mean? Don't know what you mean.
Is it perhaps something that they've made a slight tweak that doesn't then include this? I don't know, but either way, 75% is, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal anymore, is it, over there?
Well, here's the thing, right? I do not profess to be a legal expert. I cannot tell you what in the state of Florida is permissible in narcotics and what isn't. But I will say, having worked backstage at several wrestling shows, the following.
Oh,
marijuana.
Hang on.
Oh.
Just disclaimer to everyone. Hold on your hats. Here we go.
These are. I only talk facts. I only have facts. Marijuana is prescribed in some regions as a pain relief treatment. Wrestling is an incredibly painful way to make a living. So if it does turn out that this is true and 70% of the WWE roster do like the old smoke of the ganja on their off hours, then I would not begrudge them one bit, because the amount of aches and pains and moans and groans and sore backs and everything they must have to deal with on a regular basis, if they all, or 70% of them, like to treat that with a naturally growing herb, then I think fair play to them. Now, moving on from that ever so slightly, there was another statistic which is probably slightly more interesting. They were asked what percentage of the current WWE roster want to get out of their contract. They said, less than 20%. That's 1 in 5. 1 in 5 wrestlers in WWE apparently want to leave. That's not a small number.
No, and you'd imagine that the other ones are the ones who are making up the 75% of them smoking weed.
So hang on. 70% smoke weed, 20% want to go. Who's that 10%? Who's the nerds? Who's the real nerds?
Seth Rollins, right in the middle there of that Venn diagram. Slap bang in the middle, there he is.
Hey, I don't know what your guys' problem is. I think it's great.
The best wrestling company in the world with the best pro wrestling and lots of weed consumption. Very good stuff. Shall we move on to...
Yes, please.
I don't have any more dupes, but I've got 2 new potential titles that you can stick on your belt and smoke. I don't know. Hey, put it all together. Makes sense to somebody. But yes, WWE are set to do some revamping in the title department, and it seems like we're going to be getting new belts for, rumored from, this is according to Wrestling Inc., that we're going to get the new United States Championship belt and a potential new NXT Championship, the men's championship. Interesting this because of all of all the fascinating details that we do potentially have so far, this is the one that I can offer you. No real word on what the US title design might look like, but the NXT Championship, Adam Cleary, are you ready for this?
No.
In fact, I'm just going to read this quote because it made me laugh before. The chances are that the design will be exactly the same, just a larger size. Which sounds a lot like when we bought a belt that was way too small and made a bigger one.
No, in fairness. Bit of WhatCulture trivia there. The original WCPW Championship was not too small because we bought it too small. It was too small because the belt company that we commissioned to make it thought, oh, it's a YouTube channel and it's for YouTubers, so I don't need to make it like for big men. I'll just make it for scrawny nerds. And then obviously we put it on Killian Dane and it looked like a wristwatch.
Indeed. But there's a lot of talk here because they're thinking maybe the revamping is coming because we could be set to get a new champion on the way, perhaps in NXT. Maybe something to look into there. Who's bigger than Adam Cole? Well, most of the roster. So it could have to just be a thing with putting it on their waists and chests and shoulders and whatever else you want to put it on.
It's an interesting story. That the United States title feels like it hasn't had a revamp in years. NXT quite recently, when they changed all the designs after it turned out that wrestlers had been
That'll do.
Sorry, I've got something in my throat. You're gonna have to move on.
All right. Well, it's your story, mate, so it's up to you if you want to move on.
Sorry, I just cleared my throat. You know the saying, no one's meaner than Tamina?
No. Yes, of course.
You've heard it. How would you feel about a drastic rebrand of one of the company's most veteran workers to Nobody's Nicer Than Tamina? I'm not making this up. This is Tamina. There's two facets to this story. First of all, Tamina appears to be set for a bit of a character change, a bit of a gimmick rework. She released a video on her social media of her, and I just let this land about what a good idea this sounds to you, of her in an insane asylum in a straitjacket shouting boom, bang, crash, etc., etc. Then talking about how she'd spent so long being nice and getting nowhere, so now she was going to be horrible.
Hang on.
And I know exactly where you're going with this. So, because she'd spent so long being nice and having the catchphrase "no one meaner than Tamina," she's now going to be horrible. She calls it the trepidation, and no one's nicer than Tamina. Now, I don't know where to start with that.
Well, let me interject here, because as an avid fan of Tamina's Twitter account, Adam Cleary, and following all things to do with Tamina, of course, because nobody's keener than the girl who's meaner than Tamina. It's this guy. That works. I didn't see any of this. Quite
right. I'm glad you pointed that out, Adam Nicholas. The reason you won't have seen this is because unless you caught it in the few hours it was online, it's now been deleted. So, Tamina's done a big character change. She's got this new catchphrase, a new attitude, a straitjacket in an insane asylum, and now it's been deleted. WWE never shared it, they didn't retweet it, they didn't engage with it in any capacity, and now it's been deleted. This is the news, it's not our place to speculate, that's your job, but would it surprise you entirely if her phone had rang and it's like, it's somebody from compliance or from the office going, yeah, Tamina. Yeah, just on the old Twitter here. Have you done a new character where you're mentally ill, and that's the gimmick? Yeah, I don't know. Who have you cleared that with? Nobody. Oh, right. Okay. How about you just take it down and then we'll talk about it next time you're in.
I mean, nicer doesn't even rhyme with your name, Tamina. How are we supposed to push that?
Nobody's nicer than the brain splicer. You see, it's just I could do it like that.
How someone can go this rogue perhaps and then end up getting reeled in so quickly, which in fairness to WWE is quite impressive on their part, if that is indeed the case, because normally they just let this slide. But
and sorry, just talk me through the character once more while I've got you. Yeah. Mental hospital, patient, and now you're scary. Okay, it's not the 90s to me.
It's not the best. These pictures you've sent me of Dean Ambrose in a straitjacket in the Ambrose Asylum, not helping. Not helping at all. Oh,
That's
man.
the story. That's literally the story. That's the whole thing.
We've brought some real home runs here today, haven't we? We've turned up with a bunch of home run news stories, and why not finish it with one more home run for the boys and girls at home?
Why not? Why not, mate?
Because I know everyone's sitting on the edge of their seats waiting to hear this news, because we have a big United States Championship match booked for Backlash this weekend. Because we got
How big?
It's bigger than the new NXT title, allegedly, is what it's going to be. Which is going to be quite sizable, I've heard. Rumours have it anyway. But yes, Apollo Crews is defending his title against Andrade at this weekend's Backlash. Andrade won the number one contenders match between himself, Angel Garza, and Kevin Owens. Three just great guys there. You wouldn't have been unhappy with any of them winning the match. Andrade gets a win. He will face Apollo at Backlash, and potentially could be a chance for a great match this, because Apollo has been doing some fantastic stuff recently, and Andrade is Andrade. You can't really go wrong. So I know we were joking about home runs, but this is pretty good.
Wait, you were joking about the home run? I just think all these have been brilliant. Yeah, that's good news. I have been vocally complaining about how nonsensical and what a mess just the Raw mid-card is now. They've got like 1,000,001 great wrestlers, and I have no idea who's pals with who and who's fighting who, but the byproduct of that is when WWE sort of just takes its hands off the wheel and lets the car career off the side of the bridge, then tends to get good matches in the process. Andrade versus Apollo Crews should be hasn't even just got the potential to be a good match. If it's anything less than a very good match, you'd be quite disappointed with that. And as you say, the two other men in the contest, Angel Garza and Kevin Owens, you can do them next, and that'll be brilliant as well. So yeah, good news, I think.
You kind of hope that they get given a chance that, you know, they used to put the spot where the Cruiserweight Championship would get a ton of great matches like Ali and Buddy Murphy, that sort of era. And maybe if they get the same amount of time, you get something like that out of these two, although they're not exactly renowned for consistency in the old WWE. So we'll have to wait and see, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm sure it'll be a good one.
Yes, completely. I agree with whatever sentiment that was when my headphones briefly cut out there. But that's all the news for today. Let us know what you made of it all in the comments below. You could have said anything. I've got absolutely no idea. Yeah. Don't forget to let us know what you think of it, and like, share, and subscribe. Adam Nicholas, where can they get you on Twitter? I'm sure they're desperate to.
They can get me on Twitter at It's Adam Nicholas, or if they're really feeling fancy and friendly, they can go and find Adam Cleary on Twitter.
At Adam Cleary, CLERY. It's my stance, of course, that you should do both and then follow the entire WhatCulture Wrestling family at WhatCulture WWE. But in the meantime, that has been your hashtag Good After News. I have been joined by the facial and head hair of Adam Nicholas, and we will both see you soon. Goodbye.
Goodbye.